Hello everyone, welcome back to Premier League predictions. We've got some massive Premier League games coming before the dreaded international break again. We hate the international break, so let's have some fun with this final Premier League predictions video until then. You know the drill on these videos. Do make sure to hit that like button. We'll go for 1,200 likes on this one. It's free to do, so please do hit the thumbs up button. Please do make sure to subscribe as well as we start pushing towards 50,000 subscribers next, so do get involved by subscribing to the channel. The scores are on the doors from last week. Those are the scores, so if you're getting the better of me, these are the scores overall, and we will see how these Premier League predictions play out. I haven't even said hello yet. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Especially now that I've restored a little bit more in my lead. I'm good. Good
stuff, Sophie. We saw an interesting game play out between Luton Town and Burnley at Kenilworth Road last night. We'll talk about that when we get into the Premier League predictions. And we're going to start at Kenilworth Road, Sophie, with Luton Town taking on Tottenham Hotspur. Now, this is an interesting one, Sophie. Tottenham keep getting past numerous tests in the Premier League. What a brilliant win against Liverpool last week. Yes, there was certainly controversy around it, but if we're just going to look at the Tottenham performance, though, I thought they played very well.
They did. I'm not taking that away from them. It was a very controversial game, but they got the win, so.
Absolutely. Now, Luton Town come into this on the back of a good result against Everton, but a defeat to Burnley on the Tuesday night. So I do think this one's going to be interesting. It's a real test here for Luton Town. It's the first time they're hosting one of the top 6 teams at Kenilworth Road. I think Luton Town have boosted their chances of staying up with recent results and performances. It's going to be close and there's a long way to go, but they take on Tottenham, who I just think keep passing tests, whether it's a top team or a bottom team. Tottenham just seem to find a way. So I'm going to go for Luton Town to get a goal, but I do think Tottenham Hotspur get the win here. I think I'm going to go for Luton Town 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 3-1 Spurs win here. I feel like we're going to see the difference in quality. I feel like at points it might be a tighter game, but Tottenham just have the quality for me, and they just know how to see out games under Ange at the moment. So 3-1.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me if there's some late drama in that game as well. Let's go to the next one, Sophie. We're going to go to Turf Moor for Burnley up against Chelsea. Now, Burnley did get their first win at Kenilworth Road last night in the Tuesday fixture, and they take on Chelsea. Chelsea have failed to be inspiring so far this season. I think what's interesting about this game, Sophie, is I make Chelsea the team with a bit more quality. They are a club with money behind them, but I think Burnley, with the home advantage, could get something out of this. Their performances have been good. They just need a good run of results, don't they, to get out of trouble down there. I think I'm going to sit on the fence for this one. I'm going to go Burnley 1, Chelsea 1.
I don't know. I feel like at times Burnley play attractive football, but they leave themselves exposed. And coming up against Chelsea, although they're not clinical, if you give them a lot of chances, they've got to take one. So I feel like Chelsea are going to win this one, but it's going to be low scoring for me. 1-0.
Oh, you're 1-0 Chelsea. Interesting. Right, Sophie, let's go to Goodison Park next, where Everton take on AFC Bournemouth. This is a big game down in the bottom 5. Everton seem to be up and running with a great win against Brentford and then the win against Villa in the Carabao Cup, but brought back down to reality with a defeat against Luton Town. Bournemouth are still looking for their first win. They've been getting draws here and there, but I've got to say 4-0 against Arsenal wasn't very pretty. Look, Arsenal are a very good team. I didn't expect Bournemouth to win that game, but there's a way of losing it, and that really wasn't the one. This is close, Sophie. I think I'm going to sit on the fence here, Everton are just difficult to put your finger on. I could see them winning it, but I could also see them losing it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I agree.
I know it sounds stupid, but that's what Everton are like. Bournemouth, maybe another draw for them. I know they probably need to get that first win soon, but maybe a draw in store here. I'm going to go Everton 1, Bournemouth 1.
Yeah, I feel like Everton need to bounce back from that Luton defeat. You can't be losing to the teams almost around you and beneath you. And Bournemouth, another strange team. I would say they're not very consistent, but they are. They're consistently not that good at the moment. So, but it's Everton you're playing, so really you could get a result here. But I feel like I'm going to have to lean towards the home side. So I'm going to give Everton the win in this one. 2-1.
2-1. Okay, interesting. Right, next up we're going to go to Craven Cottage, Sophie, where Fulham take on Sheffield United. Fulham sitting around mid-table. They've had a decent start, some decent results, some not decent results, but overall I think they've got to be strong favourites coming into this game against Sheffield United. Sheffield United picked up a 2-0 defeat last time they came down to the capital last week against West Ham. Look, it'd be great if they could get a draw or something. They've seen that Luton Town are up and running. They've seen that Burnley have got some points on the board. They need to keep within touching distance, but I just don't know with Sheffield United. They've been looking all right up until the Newcastle defeat, but I just wonder if that might have hampered some confidence, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe they get a goal, Sophie, but I could see it being like another agonising defeat for them. I'm going to go Fulham 2, Sheffield United 1.
I'm going to say another 2-0 defeat. For me, at times, Sheffield United look like they've almost lost that fight, so they need to get that back if they're going to have any chance of survival. Fulham, at times, they look all right, and coming up against Sheffield United, they'll be looking at this as a win, I would have thought, and I feel like it could be fairly convincing, so 2-0.
2-0, okay, interesting. Right, we're going to go to Old Trafford next, Sophie, as Manchester United are in action against Brentford. Now, Manchester United fans, some of you were getting at me in the comments of the last video.
Fair play for that one.
I did call Palace to win 1-0, and you were all like, oh, why are you not backing United? Because I was right. Manchester United lost 1-0 against Palace, and they take on Brentford here, who got a 1-1 draw at the City Ground. They drew at Nottingham Forest on the Sunday. Look, what I've said about Manchester United this season is they are not convincing. They are able to grind out some results, so I'll give them credit for beating some of the real bottom sides that they've managed to beat, but they're really not convincing, Manchester United. I'm going to be nicer to them this week. I'm actually going to say they'll get a draw, but I just think Brentford are too solid to lose to this Manchester United mess at the moment. Can Manchester United click on this occasion? No. Do I think they'll lose again? I'll say no. I'm going to go down the middle and say Manchester United 1, Brentford 1.
Yeah, this is a hard one. I don't want to say a draw, but I'm really finding it hard to choose who's going to win for me, because on the day I feel like Brentford have got a little bit more about them right now. United, what is going on? And I know you've got a couple more injuries, but it's just not looking good. However, I'm going to give you the win here. It's going to be a low scoring one, but I see United. They need to bounce back from that. The fans are starting to get on their backs and they need to pull out a good performance. I don't think it's going to be a good performance, but I feel like it's going to be a win. So 1-0.
1-0. It's a difficult one at Manchester United because results are important, but even when they grind it out, it's not reassuring, is it? Because they're a massive club. They need to be, you know,
massively underperforming,
beating teams convincingly. But we shall see. Get your predictions in for Manchester United versus Brentford. Okay, next up, Sophie, we're going to go to the capital again. It's at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace take on Nottingham Forest. I managed to get Palace's result right away at Manchester United, and you managed to get Nottingham Forest's result right at home to Brentford. They drew 1-1. Not a lot in this one. Forest did take 4 points off Palace last season. They beat them at home and then they drew on the final day 1-1. I make Palace slight favourites here. They're higher in the table. Got a good result against Manchester United last week, and they've got really good individuals. But for me, Nottingham Forest this season do look a more complete Premier League team rather than a team patched together to just get over the line. They've got really good players. You look at Elanga and Hudson-Odoi and Awoniyi, and what a header by Dominguez, by the way. Great goal on his debut at the City Ground. Let's go for some fun here, Sophie. A Desmond, Crystal Palace 2, Nottingham Forest 2.
Yeah, I'm going to back a draw, but I'm going to say another 1-1, which I don't think would be a terrible result for Forest being away from home. I agree, I feel like Palace are going to be the favourites going into this, but I feel like Forest can frustrate teams and they'll grind out a point here, so 1-1.
1-1. Right, this one is very difficult, Sophie. We're going to go down to the Amex, where Brighton take on Liverpool. Now, Brighton I still hold in a high esteem despite a tragic 6-1 defeat to Aston Villa. Brighton are very difficult to put your finger on. I think it's very in Brighton's nature for them to come back and win this game. And if I remember correctly, I feel like they've got a decent record
against Liverpool.
Yeah, they do. Especially at their place. Liverpool, now they lost to Tottenham, but their performance wasn't as bad as Brighton's at Villa. Liverpool really battled. Alisson made some wonderful saves, and Liverpool fans will feel very hard done by with some of the refereeing decisions that even the referees have come out and apologised for. Liverpool, I think, could be in a title race this season. They can get away with losing last week because Man City lost last week, but they need to go back to winning ways here. But as I say, I think Brighton, despite a terrible 6-1 defeat, could switch it back on again and show their brilliant play in this game. So, do you know what? I'm going to go for another Desmond here. I'm going to go Brighton 2, Liverpool 2.
Yeah, I think the thing about this game is there's going to be goals. I'd be surprised if a 0-0 played out now. Alisson is having an absolute wonderful season at the moment. He's in great form and he's keeping Liverpool in the games. What I will say is they had 2 red cards, so they won't be playing. They'll be suspended. That's Curtis Jones and Diego Jota. He will be, both of them will be suspended for this game, which will be a big miss for Liverpool. Brighton, we've said it, they've got a very good team. Their recruitment's very good. The way they bring through young players is very, very good. I think they had another one in the team against Villa. Obviously, it wasn't a good result against Villa, but they'll be looking to bounce back from that, and so will Liverpool. So this is a really tough game to predict. I'm tempted to lean towards Brighton purely because they've got a better record, but I feel like Liverpool will be in it. But 3-2 Brighton.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not happy saying that.
Oh, okay. Right, next up, Sophie, we're going to go back to the capital again. And it's at the London Stadium where West Ham United take on Newcastle. Both sides picked a 2-0 win up against a newly promoted side last week. West Ham got the better of Sheffield United 2-0 to go back to winning ways. And Newcastle beat Burnley 2-0 at St James's Park. This one could be close. West Ham have looked better this season already than last season. But I still make Newcastle favourites here, and I think they're starting to get some good rhythm going, and who knows, I mean, they've got to try and keep the pace with the top 4 or 5 who all look fantastic this season. I think this is going to be one of the most high in quality battles for that top 4 or 5, because Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal, Brighton, Villa, they all look great. I think Newcastle look good as well, and as much as it pains me to go against West Ham here, who have looked good, I just think Newcastle have got a bit more about them. So I'm going to go West Ham 1, Newcastle 2.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's hard to not go for either team to win this one just because they're playing, both of them, they're playing good football. So I'm really tempted to say a draw. But I feel like Newcastle have got more quality to see it over the line. So I'm going to agree with your prediction. 2-1.
2-1. Okay. Right, there's 2 games left, Sophie, and both of them are really juicy. Let's go to Molineux, where Wolverhampton Wanderers take on Aston Villa. Now, I'd say both sides' results at the weekend were maybe the 2 most impressive wins.
2 best ones, yeah.
Wolves beating Man City, Sophie. Where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, I want to know what the odds were, actually, and if anyone put money on that, because where did that come from?
Brilliant result, really good result, and it does seem to be a thing in Gary Neal's repertoire where, he gets these good results against top teams. I remember him doing so with Bournemouth last season. They beat the likes of Liverpool at home, so great result. And what's interesting is Wolves won 2-1 with only 1 shot on target. Obviously one of the goals was an own goal from Man City, but look, it's the result that matters, and Wolves have shown, obviously they're going to have to sit back against top teams and play certain ways, but they were so effective in the way that they played. But they take on Aston Villa, Sophie, and Aston Villa continue to impress. 6-1 against Brighton. I mean, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous even if it was against a team bottom of the table, but to do it against Brighton as well. Incredible.
Yeah, literally. I would say Villa and Brighton, for me, are 2 clubs that I put on a par.
Yeah.
They're 2 teams that are fighting for European places. Villa looked streets ahead in that game. Villa I do see as a better team at Villa Park. This one's at Molineux, which I think makes this game closer. Now, if Wolves are high on confidence after the Man City win and play the same way that they did, I could see them winning it. But if Villa play the same way they did against Brighton, they could win this as well. Oh, this is horrible, Sophie.
It's so hard.
I want to back them both to win.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I could see there being lots of goals. There's always goals where Villa are. And I'm going to say Wolves 2, Aston Villa 3.
Okay, that would be an interesting game. I feel like you've got to back Villa, even though Wolves did beat Man City at the weekend. Could you write that down as a bit of a freak result? Yes, if they don't now follow it up. Which, coming up against Villa are looking very good at times. So I feel like it could be another high scoring one. but I'm going to say 2-1 Villa because I know that Wolves can really frustrate teams, so they'll peg them just to the 2.
That is a brilliant game, by the way. Wolves versus Aston Villa. Excited for that one, especially after both of their results last week. Right, Sophie, we're definitely saving the best till last. We're going to the Emirates for Arsenal versus Manchester City. Now, I am really excited for this one, especially after both sides' results last weekend.
Yeah.
Now, Man City are back to win the league. I back them pretty much every week. I see them as this strong powerhouse that can't be rivalled. So far this season, certain teams are trying to keep up with them. Tottenham look great, Liverpool look great, and Arsenal look great. Arsenal are still unbeaten as well. This is difficult, you know. Man City did do the double over Arsenal last season. They beat them, I think, 3-1 at the Emirates, then 4-1 at the Etihad. And those results were really devastating for Arsenal because they were, you know, leading. They were leading the title race, weren't they? Do you know what? A theme with Manchester City, a thing that always seems to recur, is that they are much stronger in the second half of the season. In the homeward straight, they just win 10 out of 10. In the first half of the season, you can trip them up. Wolves did that last week, and I think Arsenal do it this week. I think Manchester City are, you know, they're still missing Rodri. They've got players injured, and with it being at the Emirates, and this early in the season where Man City could be vulnerable, I'm going to give a massive, massive 3 points to Arsenal. I'm going to say the Gunners win this game 2-1. And the title race will be open to everyone.
Yeah, but like you said last year, it was open, or you thought Arsenal have it in the bag. It's up to them to kind of bottle it. And when Man City apply that pressure, it's hard to not bottle it. But as you said, they don't start the season that well. There's a couple little hiccups along the way. And I feel like this could be one of them. 3-1 Arsenal for me. 3-1.
Do you know what? I don't hate Man City. I quite like them. They're just a very strong team. But when they just keep winning, it's nice to see someone else have a go.
Anyone bar them,
I have tipped Man City to win the league this year. I still stand by them winning the league, but I would love to see, as a neutral, the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, or even Tottenham get involved. Do let me know your thoughts on the potential title race down in the comments. That wraps up our predictions, guys. Do make sure to get your Premier League predictions down below in the comments. There's lots of big games coming up. You know the drill as well. Hit that like button. It's free to do. We'll go for 1,200 likes. And do make sure to subscribe as well before we get to the bloody international break. Thank you for joining me, Sophie.
Thank you.
We will see you all in the next video. Peace out.